We're approaching the end of the financial year, and during this time, investors often make changes to their investments. It's an opportunity to consider your superannuation and see if you can take advantage of possible tax concessions. I'm Sophia Mavridis, a market analyst with Bell Direct, and joining me today is Bell Direct SMSF Expert Olivia Long. So Olivia, as we approach June 30, are there any particular strategies people should be aware of?
Definitely. So first, we'll start with a strategy that's unique just to SMSF. Now, this is an important strategy for anyone who's likely to have a large personal tax bill this financial year, or anyone who's about to retire from work. So it relates to the concessional or the tax deductible contribution cap. Now, that's $27,500. So if a person has a high tax bill expected for the 2022 financial year, an SMSF member can effectively bring forward the next year's contribution by making a payment to the super fund in June. Now, by doing so, you can claim a tax deduction for actually $55,000 in total in this current year. Now, the only catch is that the payment of the $27,500 must be received on its own by the fund in June, being mindful not to leave any contributions to the last minute when it might be missed. So this is a fantastic strategy to look at. With 30 June approaching, there's also another opportunity for people to revisit their total super balance as at 30 June 2021. And this is to evaluate whether or not they were actually entitled to make certain contributions this financial year. Because despite what a person's total super balance might be today, based on their 30 June 2021 balance, they might have an opportunity to make non-concessional contributions, because this requires the total super balance to be less than 1.7 million. They have an opportunity to make spouse contributions to even up super balances. They can access the bring forward non-concessional contribution rules. So this is appropriate for members under the age of 67 who on the 1st of July 2021, they may be eligible to make up to $330,000 of non-concessional contributions depending on their total super balance. And also people can make contributions using the once-off work test exemption. But one really important item to be aware of is the ability to utilise your unused concessional contributions, so your unused tax-deductible contributions. If your super balance is less than $500,000, you can log into MyGov, go to the superannuation tab and see what your unused concessional contribution amount is. So this is a great opportunity if anyone's got available cash to get it into super prior to 30 June.
And Olivia, what are some other strategic opportunities to consider that clients may not already be aware of and should be taking advantage of?
The first one I suggest is to explore opportunities to take a lump sum benefit and recontribute for a spouse. So given there's now a cap on the maximum amount you can get into the tax-free environment or full pension mode, it may be prudent where you can to withdraw amounts out and recontribute them to your spouse, especially if your spouse's super balance is far lower than yours. Another opportunity for people is to take lump sum withdrawals from pension accounts. So everyone has what's called a transfer balance cap. Now, this is the lifetime limit on the total amount of super that you can transfer into retirement phase, and it's currently 1.7 million. Now, for people that are withdrawing more than their annual minimum payment, it's not too late to consider accessing a lump sum withdrawal prior to 30 June. The reason being that pension payments from an account-based pension have no impact on a member's transfer balance account, whereas if you treat the withdrawal from the fund as a lump sum, it reduces a member's transfer balance account, creating space to move more money in the future into the tax-free environment. So a specialist SMSF accountant should be able to arrange the documentation for this to happen, but definitely a strategy worthwhile considering.
Finally, do you have any tips for retirees?
So some good news is to help manage the economic impact of COVID-19, the government's reduced the minimum drawdown requirements by half on account-based pensions and market-linked pensions in both 2021-22. And the good news is, especially given the current market volatility that we're seeing, is that the government has extended the reduction to the 22-23 financial year. So if you haven't already, make sure you've drawn your pension minimum, because failing to do so could leave you with quite a hefty tax bill.
Thank you, Olivia, for sharing your insights with us today, and we hope clients are able to take away some strategies to consider. Thank you for your time today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And for more, head to Bell Direct's website.